Well, fuck me. It didn't start well for Donald Trump, did it? His flight to Davos, I assume he's going to be landing in Zurich in Air Force One, they had to turn back. The 747, which he was on, Air Force One, which, by the way, is 35 years old, but even so maintained to an extremely high standard by the United States Air Force, had apparently some electrical issues. It flew around for a while and then finally diverted back into Dallas. Now, he's got a load of backup aircraft, and I understand he might be on... they'll be calling it Air Force One. Of course, when he's on board, it's called Air Force One anyway. And it'll be a Boeing 757 that he'll be using as the backup aircraft. A very fine airplane and quite old, again. Most of them are, but I'm sure it's delightful. They've got quite a fleet of aircraft. And anyway, whatever, I'd be very happy to fly privately on a Boeing 757. It's the same aircraft he actually owns as his own private aircraft. He could have taken the Qatari 747. Remember that gift of the $400 million 747-800 that was sitting around somewhere in some airport in Qatar, and they gifted it to Sir Donald. I keep doing it, don't I? I keep promoting him. I'm sure he'd quite like a knighthood. Anyway, I'm sure all the people in Davos are delighted he's been delayed because I bet they must be all wetting their pants going, what the fuck's he going to go on about? And is he going to rip us another one? Probably. He doesn't give a shit what he says about Europe. He has no respect whatever for Europe. And regarding the situation in Greenland, is he going to take it or isn't he? He doesn't have to. He has an arrangement with them going back to the 50s where he can have a base there with as big as he likes and he can operate from it no problem at all. He would have to make a separate deal regarding the mining of minerals. He should speak to BHP, the big Australian minerals, a digger, whatever you call them, one of the world's biggest mining companies. And they tried mining in Greenland years ago and gave up. It was too fucking expensive. Now, they know a thing or two about mining, but I'm sure he won't do that. He'll use Bechtel. I don't know who the fuck he'll use, and I don't really give a shit. Anyway, good luck to Donald Trump. And is this the moment where we have a Suez situation? Remember the 56 Suez crisis? And Britain went in there and we're going to sort things out, and we're doing very well indeed until the Americans told us to back off. And it showed the weakness of the British Empire, and that was the end of it, really, and the end of our really long association east of Suez. Is this our new European moment where the Europeans find out that he's not really our best friend? NATO is still part of, America is still part of NATO and a very important part. But I personally foresee the future where NATO, I think America will play a peripheral role rather than the major role, because I think they're going to concentrate more on what's happening in Southeast Asia, and who can blame them, because what the rising power, and there's no question about it, the rising power in the world, in particularly in the oceans, the Blue Water Navy, the biggest Blue Water Navy in the world now is, of course, China. Britain rates about number fucking 10. We've got to look at any bloody ships whatsoever. Continuous governments right through in the last 30 years have managed to emasculate our military, both our Navy, Army and our Air Force, and it's really quite pathetic and upsetting. Talking about something that's very relevant, and I always talk about it. Now, whether you say I don't or not, I do. I talk about inflation, and every month I do a little basket of my own stuff, and I work out. And never once has fucking the Bank of England achieved anything like 2% inflation. And again, it's up to, I believe it's around 4%, 4.2. Who fucking knows? The CPI rose from 3.2 to 3.4 in December, according to the ONS. Analysts had forecast a rise to 3.3%. Reeves and all the others were hoping that it would start to fall. I cannot see inflation falling. Not at the moment. I think we've got too many objects, too many problems, and the way we treat our farmers in the UK, I'm not surprised the inflation is up there. So it's around about 4% or maybe even higher than that. And this government, of course, have no plans to do anything about it. I mean, the Bank of England governor, what's his name, Bailey, supposed to keep it at 2%. He never has achieved that in his entire time there, but he's on his huge salary, etc., etc. And I'm not going to go on about that either. The Chagos Islands deal, and I'm sure Trump is furious about that. And finally, even though initially he didn't seem to be bothered, now he's realised it's a big mistake by the British, and they've got to stop doing it. First of all, they don't need to do that. Okay, it's owned by the British. The Chagosians would rather keep under the British rule. And as for Mauritius, nothing to do with them. And this is quite fucking ludicrous, and quite rightly so that Donald Trump tells Keir Starmer to be fucking grow a set and don't be so bloody ridiculous. It is a stupid, ridiculous and unnecessary decision to make, and we have to stop it right now. It's ludicrous. Now he's on his way over here in the second aircraft. He should have bought Airbus. We could give him an A380. That'd be nice. Nice be A380. Beautiful aeroplane, by the way. Got range, got everything certified to the latest standards, and made here in Europe with those 4 new Rolls-Royce high bypass turbo fans. Yes, we could do that. Perhaps we could gift him an A380. There's still a few in the desert out there, although everybody now is wishing they'd never, mothball those A380s, because everybody flying now, and everybody, you've flown on the A380, it's fucking magnificent. It is without question the finest aeroplane out there to fly on. I've been on 4 with 4 different carriers, extraordinary, and I highly recommend that you use the Boeing. The Airbus A380. She is a little beauty. And of course the A350-1000 Qantas are going to operate, or start to operate, I believe, later this year, non-stop services with the A350-1000, which will do apparently Sydney-London non-stop. Oh my God, can you imagine? If you're in economy, sure, they've got to make it more comfortable. Imagine doing it. It was about 22 hours non-stop. Fuck me. I'd sooner stick pins in my eyes. Unless you can let me go club class or first class, I ain't fucking going. So if you'd like to help me out on that one, that'd be very nice. So send me the ticket, club class, and I'll make the effort to go to Australia non-stop. How about that? My God, that would be marvellous. What else is happening today? Well, there's a lot I could talk about, but I'm not going to. I'm just, I can't wait. Oh, by the way, I've just got to mention very briefly, I did watch Donald Trump's news broadcast last night. Fuck me. Oh, geez. When I think about it, the first fucking 35 minutes he was holding up pictures of people from Minnesota that have been deported by the ICE agents. 100 of them he did. It went on for fucking ever, well, a long time, and God, it was so fucking boring. It was the worst introduction to a speech I've ever seen in my life. We got the message. You only needed to show a few of those. We got the fucking message, Donald. But by God, he went on and fucking on. God, so fucking boring, these politicians. Is there a politician in the world that you, when you hear them, you go, oh, fuck me, that sounds interesting, and I'll actually watch him or her? Well, Donald Trump isn't one of them. He's no bloody Churchill, I can tell you. But he thinks he is. In fact, he thinks he's pretty amazing, really. And a lot of people out there think he's pretty amazing too. I don't happen to think he's that amazing, but I do think you can't underestimate him. I think he might be, regarding the Greenland thing, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I think he might be just shaking the tree to see what falls out. And will Europe get a set of balls and say enough is enough, fucking grow up, we're not doing it, stop doing what you're doing? We could do it, but we'd have to work as a group, all singing from the same hymn sheet, as we used to say. Meantime, it's late Wednesday afternoon now, and it's time for me to say au revoir, masalama, tout à l'heure, au revoir. Thank you all for the views and the comments and everything else. Am I feeling a bit better? Still not 100%, but about 95% now. Still feeling a little bit down. And then, of course, I've got this frozen bloody shoulder now, just on top of everything. I tell you what, it does get to the point at my age where you start thinking, what the fuck's the point of it all? Listen, you're the point of it all because you're all amazing. I love you all. Take care. Bye.